In this second part of the blog, we are going to learn about the mode, versioning, and other actions. We have given a name to the class of processes, a key, and we have saved it. When we save it, a few options appear in the taskbar. Let's see what these options are for. Let's see the mode option first. In here, we can see all the different modes a class of processes can be. Development, which allows us to develop the process but also start them. Testing, which allows us to create processes but not to configure them. We can change from development to testing as many times as we like. When we change the mode to production, we can decide if we want to transfer all the data created while the process was in development or delete them. Once we start a process in the production mode, we won't be able to go back to testing developing mode. If we wanted to modify something, we will have to create a new version. Restricted. The restricted production mode doesn't allow us to start new processes, but it lets the ones in process to continue. Blocked doesn't let us start new processes. The ones in process will be stopped and the tasks will also disappear from the taskbar. This mode can only be selected by the administrator of the class of tasks when the process is in the production mode. It is normally when there is a problem and we need to stop everything. And disable. Only an option if there is not a process underway. It doesn't allow us to start any more processes of this class. Versioning. It is only activated when the class of processes is in production mode. How does this versioning work? When we are in the production mode, we want to make some changes to the class of processes. We are going to need to create a new version. While we have a version, all the processes are managed by that version. When we create a second one, the previous version coexists with this new one. The first one will be in the production mode, while the new one, the second, in development or testing mode. What happens when the new version goes into production mode? When the new version goes into production mode, the first one will automatically go into restricted production mode. The processes already started in the previous version will continue its course according to that version. But from this moment, all the new processes created will be managed by the new version in product mode. Let's go to structure now. And let's see how we create a class of processes. So structure, processes, and create. Okay, first of all, we need to name it. So I'm going to call it demo events. Continue. Then we will select a key. I could create a key here or just choose one of these ones. I'm going to choose this one. And then we can save. Okay. Let's have a look at some of these options and these ones. Okay, first we go to shielded option. Another option we have in the class of processes. This option allows us to add a key so only the people with that key can access. Okay, as we can see, we cannot set it up yet as we haven't configured the process. So let's go into a class of processes that is already being configured so we can see how to do it. So save and exit and go to one that has been configured. This one, shielded. Okay, we just have to select yes, add a password, confirm, and save and exit. From now on, every time I want to access this class of processes, I will need to type the password, okay? If we don't want the process to be shielded anymore, we just have to go here, add the password, accept, and then we just go to shielded, no, and save and exit. Okay? Save and exit. let's go back to the class of processes we created a few minutes ago, demo events, to see all the different options we haven't seen yet. So if we go here, okay, we have permissions, exclusive access to admin portal. So admin portal can grant access or deny access to certain processes, okay? As for the documentation, okay, as for this option, it allows me, once we have created the model and configured the class of processes, to generate a descriptive or detailed document with all the information of that class of processes. If we are providing consultancy services to a company, for example, and this one asks us to automate a process, and we have created the class of processes after having all the class of processes configured, that is to say the model created, we could send detailed documentation to our client with all this info. Okay? In here we could just add the motivation behind, okay, and select the diagram, pages we want to appear here, etc. We also have export. This allows me to export the class of processes complete, okay, or only the diagram. Since we don't have a diagram in this process yet, okay, let's import a diagram from another class of processes. Okay, so save and exit, and let's find another class of processes. Let's use this one, and then we go to export. As we have said, we only want to export the diagram, okay, and it'll be here. Okay, save and exit, and now if we go to import only diagram, we find demo events, okay, and we say import diagram. We need to be careful because if we had already a diagram there, this will delete the previous one, okay, as we don't have anything now, we are sure, and we want to import it. Okay, we always have this warning, yeah, as I said before, we need to be careful if we have another diagram. And now browse, download this one and integrate. Okay, and if we go now to demo events, sorry, that should have been done by now. Okay, go back. If we go to demo events, we click here, we should have the diagram we just imported. Okay, now if I return to the class of processes, I can see that the diagram has been imported, okay? But as we mentioned before, we can also export not only the diagram, but the complete class of processes, okay? Again, we don't have this configured, so we cannot import the class of processes. So let's open this one, for example, product request, yeah. And export, and now we want to export the complete class of processes. Okay, and now you can see that it's here. So save and exit. And then if we go to import complete class of processes, browse, and this one. This class of processes has already been imported and cannot be updated with a new version, but you can create a new class or version, the existing one. Okay, so we are going to go to create new class. We're going to add a name, imported request. Sorry, this is the key. So ATS, we're going to add a name now, imported request. And then we can choose Anna Hill here and import. Import is finished. Click check to see the possible occurrences. Okay, if this is just to see, you know, if the file is being created properly. Okay, because if there was a problem while imported, it will let us know here. Okay, well, we don't need that. So if we return to here, okay, I can see the new class. Okay, the new class of processes we just imported here. And as we can see, okay, it's the whole thing, not only the diagram, but the whole configuration would have been imported. Okay, configuration of the objects, event, etc. Okay, there are two other options more that we haven't seen yet. Okay, the delete, which as its name indicates is to delete the whole process. Okay, and the load complement. This complement must be installed on your computer to be able to use the following advanced document features. Okay, we just need to download this document the first time we use it. Okay, after that it won't be necessary as it would be already in our computer. Okay,